A lot of baseball. But if you can't smell it, maybe you can feel it because football is definitely in the air.
Michael, the only thing not in the air tonight would be Russell Wilson passes. Has a slight calf injury. Therefore, Justin Fields gets the first squad reps preseason opener for the Steelers. Things started well. Little out here to George Pickens. Mike Tomlin's been clear. Depth chart is out. Russell is QB1, and he doesn't really seem to think it's much of a competition. And things like this are not going to help Justin Fields. Bobbles the snap, loses 4 yards, and as you might imagine, whether you're head coach Mike Tomlin or head coach Herm Edwards, who we're going to have here in a second, you hate seeing things like that. Second drive, trying to make something happen. Again, losing the football. O-line able to recover. Wow. Next week, we'll see what happens. Steelers open the regular season against Atlanta. We'll show you Michael Penix here in a second. Danielle Hunter all over Justin Fields. He had 2 fumbles, 2 sacks. Was not a great performance. However, as that Ohio State quarterback trots off the field, this one trots on. C.J. Stroud, last year one of the greatest rookie seasons a quarterback has ever had. In stride, Tank Dell, 34-yard touchdown. Remember, Tank back for the first time since the leg injury he suffered in December. And by the way, the Texans are going to open with Indy. And remember, those two played late in the season to decide the AFC South last season. Another opportunity for Fields. At the end of the day, 5 for 6. Threw for 67 yards, but even though this was one of the more intriguing quarterback competitions, this competition appears to be, in many cases, wildly in the favor of Wilson. Plays like that are simply not going to help. Texans go on to win. Score is really academic here. Steelers got the Bills a week from tonight, preseason week 2. And let's just say Mike Tomlin says this team has plenty to work on in the next 7 days.
Really a sloppy performance, to be honest with you. It's capable of happening, obviously, in the first preseason game, but not that we find comfort in that. We worked too hard to have the results we had tonight, so it's disappointing. How we work off of it, obviously, will define us, and we'll have a good rep at responding to negativity as we push into our next opportunity. We need to be significantly better.
I think we're, focusing on just controlling what we control and not shooting ourselves in the foot. It's just a repetitive thing. As long as we do that, put ourselves in great field position and, do the routine things routinely, I think we'll be great. Because other than that, I think we, like I said before, just moved the ball well. I think we executed well, ran the ball well, and when we were doing the routine things routinely, of course the ball was moving downfield. So just doing that.
Check out this stat before we get it here to Mike and Coach. All about protection. Bottom of your screen, these are 2 of the slowest guys in the NFL getting the ball out of their hands. Pittsburgh has continued to retool their O-line using their top 2 picks on draft picks in the lineman interior front. Doesn't matter how good the protection is, Mike, got to get the ball out of your hands quicker than that.
Say that for about any quarterback in the league. By the way, another way we know it's football season around here, Uncle Herm is here. Herm Edwards in the building. All right, so Justin Fields got the start for Pittsburgh. What did you see from him tonight, Coach, that gives you any indication what he could be potentially for the Steelers?
Well, there was some encouraging signs when he got the ball off, right,
okay,
as far as the pass game. But there's also some signs that show disappointment in the fact that they were really sloppy on offense. Ball exchange, quarterback center, holding the ball too long in the pocket at times. We saw this when he was in Chicago.
Yeah.
And, Mike, he addressed it. Look, we got to get the ball out. This is his offense. We're going to run the football, protect you with the run. We have to get the ball out. He had some early completions, but at the end of the day, he kind of fell back to how he was playing in Chicago.
If you were Mike Tomlin,
yes,
and you're going to make ultimately a decision between Fields and Russell Wilson,
yes,
from whom do you need to see more to give you the confidence of what you need to do? Do you need to see more to Russell Wilson or Fields?
No, I think Russell Wilson's a starter.
He's a starter in your mind and Tomlin's mind right now?
No doubt.
Okay.
Russell Wilson's a starter.
Okay.
And now Justin Fields, will he have a role? I think he might have a role, maybe a slash role when the season starts. Mm-hmm. But right now, it's Russell Wilson's job to lose when the season starts.
Okay. So Fields can't do to Russell Wilson what Russell Wilson did to Matt Flynn way back in the day in Seattle, come out of nowhere and steal that job.
I don't think so, because Russell Wilson's going to play in some of these preseason games.
There you go. All right, fair enough. All right, so Fields was not the only quarterback of note on the field tonight. C.J. Stroud got the start for the Texans, only played 2 drives, but considering how well he played last year, how much do you need to see him on the field anyway?
DeMeco Ryans, think about this. Rookie head coach, rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
They stormed the NFL last year.
Absolutely.
First preseason game, guess what? He puts his starters out there. I love it. I love DeMeco Ryans. I love his mindset. And guess what? They didn't disappoint. C.J. Stroud showed everyone that wasn't a fluke last year. You're going to have to deal with me. Dell, who was hurt, touchdown pass. I mean, they're playing against a pretty good team in the Pittsburgh Steelers defensively now. And he was like the guy we saw last year. He just completed passes on his first drive, took the team down there, scored a touchdown, and then put his baseball hat on and said, I'm going to sit on the sideline now.
We've seen quarterbacks evolve. We've seen them regress. Considering how well he played last year, the likelihood that he can get even better this year is what?
Well, he will get better because he puts the pressure on himself. And remember, this team has expectations now.
Because he played so well last year.
That's exactly right. And you know what? He played so well. Now, all the rookie quarterbacks, if you've drafted one, everyone expects him to play like this guy.
Right.
This guy could be special. We could be watching something very special here because you know what his ceiling is right now?
It seems to be pretty high.
Oh, it's really high.
Michael Penix Jr. I mentioned Pittsburgh's going to open with Atlanta. We're not going to see Kirk Cousins this preseason, so this is going to be the Michael Penix show, hitting Casey Washington, apropos for a guy who was a superstar at Washington. And then Penix to Chris Blair, all sorts of problems. The Finns recover. Miami, by the way, is going to open at home against Jacksonville. Week 1, it's 3-0. Penix looking for Blair again. Beautiful touch. That's the one thing they said, how effortlessly the ball came out of his hands at Washington and how he just has the ability to drop it in there. Later in the drive, he's got a thing for Washington. He's kind of looking for him. Again, he's going to get a ton of reps. He's got a first-year head coach, not a first-time head coach in Raheem Morris, but this is an interesting needle to thread here because you know everything that happened with Kirk Cousins, the signing, and then the drafting of Penix. That's going to get down inside the 4. Falcons knocking on the door. They'll go for it. It's 4th down. It's the preseason. Why not? Penix played 5 series. Dolphins win. It's all academic. Everybody just wanted to see this top 10 picks. Now, other Falcons quarterbacks in the top 10 when they've picked at that position turned out pretty well. 0-1, number 1, Michael Vick. This is against the Vikings in overtime, tied at 24 way back in the day. This is more than 20 years ago, but Vick did a little bit of that his entire career, all-time quarterback rushing leader for the Falcons to the surprise of nobody. That was a walk-off TD, as you can see. Matt Ryan played it a little bit differently. He was actually the number 3 overall pick in 2008. He ended up winning an MVP in 2016, and if not for a comeback for the ages from Tom Brady, Matt Ryan would be an MVP and a Super Bowl champion. He just had such a great connection with Julio Jones. This was a game against Green Bay in which they connected for 4 touchdowns, did Matt Ryan. So it's a pretty rich history at that position in Atlanta.
All right, so that's the history, but let's talk about the present real quick because Kirk Cousins is going to be the starter in Atlanta, 3-year deal, $100 million guaranteed. He's the guy. But considering what you saw from Penix in college coming out, now the expectations, and just one preseason game, what do you see as his future in Atlanta?
Well, he was a starter tonight, and the lights were not too bright for him. He looked like he was in college. And rightly so. Look, he's playing in the preseason. The preseason is different than the regular season. But here again, this is his first start in the NFL. He's wearing he's wearing an Atlanta Falcon helmet right now. Everybody's saying is he Michael Vick? He's not Michael Vick.
No,
he's not Michael Vick. There's only one Michael Vick. So look, I thought he did a pretty nice job when he got rid of the ball. At times he held it a little bit too long, and he's got to get rid of the ball. That's this offense. Get rid of the ball. Don't hold it. So first outing, thought he played well. And there's a growing, every time he plays now, he's going to get a little bit better, a little more confidence. But Kirk Cousins is a starter here.
How much does it really matter, Herm, the talent of the quarterback and the system and the team and the organization to which they start their NFL career?
The talent of a quarterback has to be used in the system that you're about to play on offense.
Okay.
If not, quarterbacks fail. That's the failure of a lot of quarterbacks in the National Football League. Is it the system that matches the talent of the player? And when you can't match that together, there's always confusion. The quarterback looks bad. The offensive coordinator looks bad, there's no offense. And so they have two different styles of quarterbacks right now. One, Kirk Cousins is going to play in the pocket. You protect him, he's very good. This guy, you got to move the pocket for him a little bit. That's okay. That's part of the offense. Whether either one of them play, you have to be able to do that.
And again, that matters so much. C.J. Stroud was in a great position last year. The expectation for some of these rookies may be the same, maybe it shouldn't be. Back here on SportsCenter, preseason week 1 continuing. Eagles visiting the Ravens. No Saquon Barkley, no Jalen Hurts for Philly, makes sense. But Eagles do have a new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. You got Kenny Pickett. So, how did they do in this game? First quarter, they go for it on 4th and 8. Pickett looking for Joseph Ngata, but the rookie Nate Wiggins breaks it up. For next-gen stats, Wiggins, nearest defender in 6 pass attempts in the first half, 2 completions, 16 yards, gave up a touchdown. He later left the game with a shoulder injury, but no update provided by John Harbaugh after the game. A little bit later, Pickett to Britton Covey, 7-yard completion. And then, 15th play of the drive, Pickett, Will Shipley, we got a touchdown. Eagles take a 6-3 lead. Jake Elliott missed the extra point, but it's the preseason. Second quarter, Pickett. Are we doing the brotherly shove without Jalen Hurts and no Jason Kelsey either? Yes, that's pretty much what they do with that offensive line there in Philly. Nick Sirianni, he approves. Pickett, solid effort, 14 of 22. Just 89 yards, though, in those 14 completions. We showed you the touchdown. Eagles get the win, 16-13 against the Ravens.
Michael, thank you. Coach Edwards is back. Okay, bottom line, since the meltdown last season and all the chatter this preseason, apparently the schism between Sirianni and Hurts, all of the talk has been about the Eagles' offense and what's going on with it. But you actually think it's the other side of the football that people need to pay attention to. Take us inside this.
Absolutely. Kellen Moore will get this offense fixed. I'm not even worried about that. It was the defense last year. That was the Achilles heel of the Philadelphia Eagles. When you think about 35 touchdowns given up by the back end of the defense. Now, that has a lot to do with the pass rush and everything else, but this defense was not very good down the stretch. 10 out of their first 11 games they win, they lose 5 out of their last 6, and a lot of it was contributed to the defense, giving up points, giving up easy touchdown passes. They could have 7 new players on this defense this season. They drafted 2 defensive backs this year. They've got to upgrade this defense if they're going to compete with Dallas to try to win this division.
Last thing for you, I do want to talk about offense. You mentioned the new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. He's been in Dallas, so he's been in the division. He was with the Chargers as well. What kind of dimension does he bring?
Well, you saw it tonight a little bit. Jalen Hurts, when he's the quarterback, there was a lot on his plate as far as running the football at times.
Right.
He's not going to be asked to do that anymore. Saquon Barkley's there. Right. They're going to run the ball. They're also going to throw to the backs in the passing game, along with the tight end. He'll allow Hurts to get the ball out quickly. It won't be 2 steps, try to throw deep balls all the time. It'll let's spread the ball around to this offense. So it'll be very balanced. Jalen Hurts will be part of it. He will be a little bit in the running game, but he won't be the primary runner anymore.
Okay, we'll see what happens. By the way, the Eagles, a reminder, they're opening up against the Packers in Brazil.
Oh, Brazil. Why, that's a nice Brazil.
Nice trip. Friday, September 5th. Coach, great to see you.
Good to see you.